Now found in more homes than any other appliance, the kettle continues to evolve and improve. Up to the 1920s, if you wanted to boil water, you needed an open fire and a kettle. Vessels almost identical to modern kettles, from the body's shape to the spout, were used in Mesopotamia as far back as 3500 BC. Time-consuming and inefficient, it was the only way to heat water for several millennia. The earliest recognized kettle-shaped vessel was discovered in Mesopotamia and dates back to between 3500 and 2000 BCE. It's made from bronze and features a decorated spout. However, aside from its similar shape, experts don't believe that it shares any comparable functions with the kettle, which has evolved over the past 200 years. Before we proceed to the history of electric kettles, if you are new to Flex Inventions, please subscribe below and turn on the notifications so that you will be the first to know when we drop new videos on modern inventions. Haven't said that? Let's dive back in. By the 19th century, kettle makers switched from iron to copper because it conducted heat more efficiently. This means that people can now boil their water faster with less heat. The next invention in kettle making was known as the whistling kettle. This invention was trendy in the early 20th century and represented a prime step in the evolution of the kettle. The whistling sound is made by the rushing of steam produced by the boiling water via an opening at the pinnacle. This process creates a loud whistling sound to notify anyone around the area that the water is at its boiling state. The whistling kettle became one of the most common approaches to heating drinking water before the invention of the electric model. In 1981, the first kettle to use electricity to heat water came from Carpenter Electric Company in Chicago. It had a heating element in a very separate compartment beneath the water. This was a breakthrough in kettle making, but was still not perfect because the water took more than 10 minutes to come to a boiling state. This was caused by the fact that the heating element in the electric kettle was in a separate compartment, rather than in the water as in modern kettles. In the 1920s, the Swan Company solved the problem by sealing the element in a metallic cylinder and placing it directly inside the water. Heating occurred much faster, and before long, other manufacturers used a similar design. The kettles were usually constructed out of metal, except during World War II, when shortages necessitated a switch to ceramics. The credit for creating the first automated electric kettle goes to Russell Hobbs, a company established in the United Kingdom in the early 1950s by William Russell, 1920 to 2006, and Peter Hobbs, 1916 to 2008. Before this, electric tea kettles may boil dry if unattended, or trigger electric shocks. In the automatic electric water kettle, first made by Russell Hobbs in 1955, a bimetallic strip tripped the kettle's off-swap when steam was pressured through the lid aperture to the strip. It is fascinating to note that through the years, inventors have continued to generate enhancements to the kettle. In 1923, Arthur L. Large of the United Kingdom invented the kettle's first fully immersible heat resistor. In the early 1930s, a kettle maker named Walter H. Bulpitt invented the electric water kettle safety valve. The British inventor and entrepreneur John C. Taylor developed and perfected the kettle thermostat, which ensures the kettle switches off after the water is boiled. Now found in more homes than any other appliance, the kettle continues to evolve and improve.